Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. In this video, we're going to build a beautiful digital clock app using React.js and Bootstrap, perfect for beginners who want to practice working with real-time updates and UI styling. Let's get started. First, create a new folder anywhere on your system where you'd like to keep this project. Right-click the folder and open it with Visual Studio Code. Next, open the integrated terminal by pressing Ctrl+Shift+Backtick, or go to the top menu and choose Terminal New Terminal. In the terminal, run the following command to create your React app. npx create React app digital clock. This will set up all the required files and install the dependencies. It may take a minute or two to finish. Once that's done, navigate into the project folder using cd digital clock. Now let's add Bootstrap to our project. In the terminal, run npm install Bootstrap. If you're not installing Bootstrap using npm, and instead you're using the cdn method, then make sure to remove the Bootstrap import from your JavaScript files. Instead, just add this line of code inside the head section of your public index.html file. This will load Bootstrap directly from the internet every time the page loads. It's quick and easy for beginners or smaller projects. But for larger apps, using npm is usually the better choice. Planning to customize Bootstrap? Then using npm install Bootstrap is the better approach. Why? Because it gives you more control. You can import only what you need, reduce file size, and avoid relying on an internet connection to load your styles. In this project, since we're building a professional UI, I recommend using the npm method. Alright, now let's move on to the next step. Open your app.js file located inside the src folder. Here, you'll see some default code that was created by React. We don't need this right now, so go ahead and select all of it and delete it. Now, we'll write our own code to build the digital clock. Start by importing React, along with two important hooks, useState and useEffect. Also, don't forget to import Bootstrap for styling. Then, we'll create a functional component called digital clock. Inside it, we'll use the useState hook to store the current time, and the useEffect hook to update the time every second using JavaScript's date object. Finally, we'll return a Bootstrap-styled layout that displays the clock in the center of the screen, with glowing time digits and the current date below it. If you'd like to pause the video here and type along, you can do that now, or simply copy and paste the full code shown on the screen. Alright, before we deploy our app to Vercel, let's first create a GitHub repository so that Vercel can fetch our project from there. Head over to github.com, log into your account, and click the New button in the Repositories section. Give your repository a name. Something like Digital Clock is perfect. You can leave the other options as default and click Create Repository. Once it's created, GitHub will give you some commands to connect your local project to this repo. So after created a repository, we will get the repo like this with readme file, and now we have to copy the Git URL. Now, go back to your Visual Studio Code terminal and make sure you're inside your project folder. Then, run the following commands one by one. Git init, git add, and then git commit m initial commit. It creates a snapshot of all the files you've added using git add and saves it in your local Git repository with a message. Labels that version with your message, initial commit. Stores it locally. It's not on GitHub yet. Then next command is git remote add origin https://github.com/ your username digitalclock.git. This command tells your local Git project. Next one is git push you origin main. This command uploads your local code to the GitHub repository you just connected. The error message we are getting means that the main branch does not exist yet in your local Git repository. So we have to keep this command. Git branch a main. This creates a current branch to main. And then again we push the code to main branch. But we are getting the error. This means the remote GitHub branch main already contains data, maybe a readme, .gitignore, etc. Your local main branch is unaware of that. Git is preventing you from pushing to avoid overwriting someone else's work or history. Using force like this will forcefully overwrite the GitHub repo with your local code, deleting any files or commits that were already there. Alright, our code has now been successfully pushed to GitHub. This means GitHub is now hosting our code, and it's ready to be used by Vercel for deployment. Now let's deploy our app using the Vercel CLI directly from the terminal. Type Vercel. After that, it will ask if you want to link this directory to an existing project. Just say no for now. Then it will ask for a project name. You can press enter to use the default name or type your own. Next, it will ask for the root directory. Just press enter again to use the current folder. When it asks if it's a React project built with Create React App, type yes or press enter. Vercel will auto-detect it. Finally, Vercel will build and deploy your app. And within a few seconds, it will give you a live public URL. That's it. Your React app is now live on the internet using Vercel, all from the command line. You can copy the URL and open it in your browser to see your digital clock app working live.